Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've been keeping an eye on the news lately, you know we're living in a moment of just intense acceleration. We've got global conflicts escalating, economic numbers that are literally almost too large to comprehend, and rapid fire shifts in how business and technology are operating. So today, we're going to take this incredibly complex news cycle and synthesize it down into a clear, visually structured briefing. We've distilled the absolute most vital data from today's sources to give you a really sharp, comprehensive look at exactly where the world stands right now. Let's dive in. Okay, here's our agenda for today. 1. Global conflicts and hotspots. 2. The U.S. economic milestone. 3. Tech, business, and labor. And 4. Domestic disasters and justice. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Global Conflicts and Hotspots, Navigating Geopolitical Pressure Points. Our first major data point takes us to Ukraine. There's been a truly devastating missile attack striking critical civilian infrastructure right in Kyiv. We're talking local schools and a hospital, leaving at least 17 people dead. But beneath this immediate tragedy, there's a really critical strategic crisis unfolding. Ukrainian forces are currently facing severe shortages of interceptor missiles. And that's absolutely crucial because it's creating the exact air defense gaps that allow these kinds of strikes to penetrate the capital in the first place. Now, shifting over to the Middle East, we're actually seeing this intense geopolitical defiance playing out in real time. U.S. leadership has been warning that secondary sanctions are going to target foreign entities doing business with Iran, a move some are basically calling an economic D-Day. But the response from Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, well, it's pretty blunt. He is publicly brushing off these initiatives as a mere distraction. It's a fascinating look at how these massive economic threats are being wielded and then just publicly dismissed on the global stage. Meanwhile, over in South Asia, India is actively managing these two dual, parallel regional crises that are just severely impacting daily life. In Punjab, an organization called the Qawmi Insaf Morcha has organized a massive regional shutdown. Their main demand? They want the release of Sikh prisoners who they state have already fully completed their judicial sentences. But at the exact same time, completely separate law and order concerns have forced authorities in Manipur to declare a multi-day shutdown of their own schools and universities. So you've got two completely different regions, two very different crises, but both are resulting in massive civic shutdowns. Moving right along to Section 2, the U.S. economic milestone, crossing a historic threshold. I mean, just take a second and look at the sheer scale of this number, $40 trillion. The Treasury Department just officially confirmed that the U.S. national debt has crossed this historic threshold for the very first time, driven by mounting public and government obligations. It is a staggering psychological and financial milestone, and for sure it's going to inevitably force some major shifts in future economic policy and market liquidity. All right, Section 3, Tech, Business, and Labor, Shifting Markets and Major Investments. This right here perfectly captures the wild, contrasting fortunes we're seeing in the financial sector right now. On one side, traditional retail is taking a really heavy hit. Walmart actually saw its stock drop by around 9%, and that's following lower than expected sales guidance and these new pharmacy price caps. But then, look at the other side. The emerging crypto market is actively securing major institutional wins. A firm called World Liberty Financial, which happens to be backed by Donald Trump, just got conditional approval from the OCC. This effectively allows them to establish a national trust bank specifically focused on managing a dollar-backed stablecoin known as USD1. So it's this vivid snapshot, right? Traditional retail is struggling, while digital currency infrastructure is really solidifying its legal footing. Zooming out a bit, it's like watching a massive global race to modernize infrastructure. Elon Musk is renewing his huge push to deploy Starlink across rural India to close those critical connectivity gaps. Meanwhile, Google is basically playing the long game for the next generation of talent, offering college students worldwide a free year of their Gemini AI suite. And on the physical infrastructure side, India's Union Cabinet just greenlit a massive 13,000 crore rupee multi-tracking mega project just to decongest their major physical trade corridors. But as global business and infrastructure keep expanding at this crazy rate, we absolutely have to look at the human cost at the base of the supply chain. A brand new report from the Corporate Accountability Lab has flagged some severe ongoing issues in the Dominican Republic. They're highlighting persistent forced labor conditions and wage violations happening right now at major sugar plantations. And why does this matter to the wider economic picture? Well, because these specific plantations are direct suppliers to international markets. That means these labor abuses are intimately tied directly into the global food supply chain. Finally, Section 4. Domestic disasters and justice, localized crises in the U.S. Stateside, we're tracking a pretty intense cascade of localized crises right now. Up in Alaska, there was a tragic military chartered plane crash en route to a remote radar site that has sadly left 8 people dead. Over in New York, federal agents narrowly averted what could have been a major security threat, arresting a 35-year-old woman for an ISIS-inspired plot to actually bomb lawmakers at the Capitol. And practically at the same time, the New York metro area was getting battered by rare tornadoes and severe weather, completely flooding subways and paralyzing local transit.
And wrapping up with the justice system, there's a major development in a highly publicized fatal stabbing case down in Texas. Defense attorneys have officially filed for a retrial, and they are arguing that severe evidentiary missteps happened during the initial proceedings. It's a stark reminder of the continuous friction and complexity within our legal system.
So, when we take a step back and look at this entire explainer, the big takeaway is a world operating under immense, multifaceted strain. Think about it. We've got traditional markets plunging while crypto gains major federal ground. We're staring down the highest national debt in U.S. history. And we have active, tragic conflicts resulting in real civilian casualties. The pieces on the board are all moving incredibly fast. So, what do you think? How will these combined geopolitical and economic pressure points impact our immediate future? Is tech innovation going to outpace this traditional economic strain, or are we heading for some kind of breaking point? Think on that for a bit, and we will catch you for the next breakdown.